Well, a very good Sabbath to you all. This is Bill Bullock. Here I am again at the Biblical Lifestyle Center in Texarkana, USA, here to share with you another hour or so of Shabbat, of the Sabbath, of the beauty of the day the Holy One has made for us to rejoice in Him, to celebrate His works and His creation, and to learn at His feet the beautiful things of Torah, the ways of the more excellent pathway that He desires for us to follow. Welcome to you all. This is a very special episode of our series, the 53rd episode. This is really the final episode, the concluding episode of our series, Walking in the Light. The year of our study of Torah, the special time we set aside each year on the Sabbath to study the Torah. This season of it, this cycle of it is coming to an end. And it is coming to an end today with episode 53 of Walking in the Light. We have been endeavoring all this past year, for 12 months now, we've been endeavoring to find the light and then to walk in it. Not just know that it exists, not just believe in it, but to actually begin to walk in it and absorb the energy and catch the perspective of the light of the Creator of the universe. His Torah is a lamp and His mitzvahs are lights. So we are at Parsha 53, the last of our full studies that we do, and it's Haazinu, ears. Give ears. This is if those who hasn't have an ear, he who has an ear, let him shema. Give ear. This is the kind of the summation, Moshe's song that will sum up the entire story, the revelatory story from the beginning to the end. This is his summation, the grand summation of Book of Deuteronomy and Torah in general. The address, you will find this, is in Deuteronomy chapter 32. There's actually 52 verses of it, chapter 32, verses 1 through 52. Welcome. Join me. Let me know that you're here, where you are, and anything that may be on your heart, and we'll proceed to move on. Now, this is our series of Walking in the Light. And it's been our theme for the past year. Our sub-theme for the past year that goes with it has been discovering secret wisdom, discovering the secret wisdom particularly that is created, that the Creator has encoded in Torah's timeless stories. The Holy One loves to tell us stories. He knows that we love to hear stories and to relate to stories. And so rather than try to give us a book of laws or a book of history or a book of commands or demands, He gives us a book of stories. And this book of stories, we call it Torah. It's Moshe as our storyteller, and he is enthralling us with the great adventure, the grand plan. So we come to the conclusion of the series. This is a Sabbath unlike any other Sabbath because it is the concluding Sabbath of our studies together, and also because we're coming up on the festival, the Moed, the special divine appointment, the special 7-day period of Sukkot, or Feast of Tabernacles. It begins this year, Tuesday at the sundown, October 6th, and continues through Wednesday afternoon on the 14th of October. These are the days in which we rehearse the inauguration of the millennial reign. Yes, you heard me right. This is not just about a set of rules to follow. This is a rehearsal for a grand millennial kingdom to come upon the earth in the latter days. So we are rehearsing, we're getting our parts down, we're learning our lines, we're learning our responsibilities and our expectations for the millennial reign. We rehearse the inauguration of that reign, and we rejoice in the ultimate experience of fullness of joy in His presence, His fullness of joy. Well, I want to go ahead and then sing our Shema to get us started. So if you would join with me, and we'll sing the Shema. Tune your ears, tune your hearts, tune your spirits. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Mahuto Leolam Vayed. Amen. Listen and heed and hear and respond and resonate, O Israel. For the Holy One, our God, He is the ultimate oneness. He is the unifying unity, the gravitational force that pulls all things toward Him, unto Him. And we join in that today. Blessed be His glorious name, His attributes, of His characteristics, and His kingdom as He reigns upon the earth forever and ever. Amen. Amen. Well, the final concluding portion of our Torah study, there was actually a little bit more that we have as an epilogue that will follow later, but it is not given a separate week. We will kind of combine it with Bereshit as we roll back the scroll for the beginning of next year. But the final full parsha is the Shir LaMoshe, the song, the minstrel song that Moshe sings to conclude his entire revelatory stream. Now, if you will hear me, beloved, this is not the first song that Moshe has sung. Moshe regaled us with his voice once before at the Sea of Reeds. If you remember that, at the Sea of Reeds, it was Moshe who began the Ashir el Adonai, I will sing unto the Holy One. So this now, at the end of his life, 40 years later, after walking through so much with the Holy One, talking to him face to face as a man speaks to his friend, walking with him for 40 long years. Now Moshe sings the last part of the song, the stunning bookend to the song of the sea. We'll rewind. We want to get an idea of what this song of Moshe is going to be all about. You got to know what the first song of Moshe was all about. And you got to be able to correspond and correlate the two together. It's not the song of Moshe at the end of chapter 32 is not separate from the song of Moshe in Exodus 15, the song of the sea. Remember that in the seed time of all days, in the days of redemption, in the sweet time of the early days of the spring, as the song of the sea was concluding, the message was found. You in your chesed, your faithfulness, your covenant faithfulness, you in your chesed have led forth the people whom you have redeemed. This was Moshe's song. You in your hesed, he speaks to the Holy One, you in your hesed have led forth the people whom you redeemed, and you have guided them in your strength to your holy habitation. Wow. And then it goes on further a little later. It says, you will bring them in and plant them in the mountain of your inheritance. Hallelujah. In the place, O Holy One, that you have crafted for your own dwelling, the sanctified space, O Holy One, that your hands have established. And then Adonai Yimloch Leolam Vaed, the Holy One will reign forever and ever. What a wonderful finishing flourish to the song of the sea. But oh, the things that Moshe did not know at that time. Oh, the things that were yet to be revealed. The things that he has learned since that time. The rest of the story. That's what we're getting to now. This is the rest of the story. This is what is about, the Song of Moshe is about what is destined to happen. What has been written in the books of heaven that will happen between the time of the miracle at the Sea of Reeds and the great second Exodus to come. What will happen between those events? And how is it exactly that Adonai Yimloch Leolam Vaed will play itself out in real time, in the real world? So welcome to Parsha 53, Haazinu, the song of the ultimate odyssey and the stunning endgame of the Abrahamic covenant. I have told you about the Abrahamic covenant for months now. We've been talking about the beautiful plan the Holy One had by calling forth Avram and his seed and blessing them with land and with his words and with his presence and with his persona forever. Now, by doing that, he has reversed the curse of the nations, of the raging nations. And he has a plan to bring it to a culmination, and we'll read about that plan, but also the process of getting to the end game too. So we talk about the covenant of Avram, the Abrahamic covenant. This is the source of the redemption plan for mankind and for the restoration plan for planet Earth, the ecosystem to return to its Edenic state of beauty and fruitfulness and shalom, to have mankind redeemed as a species, bloodline by bloodline, and household by household, and individual by individual, as many as will come to the sound of his voice through the Abrahamic covenant and the blessings that are poured out through that covenant. But this covenant is so powerful. But what kind of covenant is it? What kind of covenant do we have with the Creator of the universe? Well, the covenant between the Holy One and his people through Abraham's seed is a forever and a day covenant. The covenant is a through it all, despite it all, against all odds kind of covenant. It is an I am your God and you are my people, and that's the way it's going to be forever covenant. It's a covenant that runs with the land of Israel. It's a covenant that runs through the seed of Abraham. It's a covenant that runs that way. It's a covenant of eternality. Covenants, of course, though, have conditions. And they have ups and downs. Covenants, of course, have conditions, and they have serious consequences if you have breaches of the covenant, of the conditions, of the expectations that are not rectified. If you have serious, flagrant, I should say, and unrectified breaches of a covenant, especially this kind of covenant, you will have corrective doses of discipline released. Discipline, but never rejection. The covenant is firm. The covenant is sure. The covenant is unshakable, unbreakable. But there will be corrective doses of disciplines to bring about return to the covenant, not rejection or judgment. And they will bring about these corrective doses of discipline will bring about, will look like a temporary, strategic, measured withholding of the face, a turning away of the face of the creator of the universe, of the partner in the covenant, the temporary, strategic, measured turning away and withholding of the face, the light of his countenance, and or his hand of blessing, but never, believe me, beloved, never to abandonment. The breaches of covenant by the covenant partner on earth does not cause abandonment, merely discipline. Why did Moshe choose to leave us, leave earth, leave the nation of Israel, leave those who have been studying his word? Why did he choose to leave us with a song? A song before he goes. Why did he choose to end this whole story with a song? Well, the Hebrew word for song, or we could translate it song, the most often one is shir, shin, yud, resh. It's related to a bunch of other words. Hebrew is a family word family language. It has mishpacha of devarim. There are certain words that come in families, and almost all of its verb forms come in families. So what are some of the related words? We want to know what a shir is and why it's so important. Why is this shir song so important? Understand that one of the most common related words is yashar. Yashar is a verb which means to go straight, straightforward, to be upright, to be honest, to be true to the trajectory heading for a target. Yashar. Now, if we understand the shir, the song, is going to be about the trajectory getting us towards the target, which is the end game of the Holy One who created this covenant. And so we understand that yashar, this verb, is going to lead to a word called ashrei, which in English is often going to be translated as blessed. Like Psalm 1, blessed is he, blessed is the man. But it's really ashrei. It's not blessed, it's not barak. That's the barak would be the blessed. Instead, it's ashrei. It means going straight toward the target, on task, on target, on time, honest and true in trajectory is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly in that case, or stands not in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the Torah of the Holy One. So this yashar and ashrei root is tied to shir. We're supposed to walk and toward trajectory and a true trajectory towards our target, our goal, and we're also to, in so doing, release this blessing in the earth. Another related word is shiur. And that's a noun in Hebrew, which means a teaching or a study session, related specifically, of course, to a Torah subject matter. So a shir, a teaching or a study session related to a Torah subject matter. Well, that's what this shir is as well. This shir is a shiur as well. It tells us about trajectory towards target. It tells us about the blessings that come from that. It tells us about how to accomplish it. It's a teaching study session, sure. It's like a breakout session. Another related word to shir, the song, is sha'ar, which is gate or entrance. It's from a verb which means to reckon, to consider. And that's what we're supposed to do when we hear this song. We're supposed to reckon in our minds where we are in it, what it means to us, and consider what the ramifications of it are and what needs to happen next, what should happen. To consider from a perspective, to understand. It's more than just what we're in it at the given moment. It's where we are in the bigger picture. Another Hebrew word that's related to shir is sharatz, when you add the zade on the end, the zade sulfide on the end. Sharatz. It means to swarm or to team, to mix and mingle. This is part of the story, part of the song as well. It's about how we mix and mingle in the world, how we swarm, how we continue to be a mass of people despite all the other nations around us collapsing and falling and bloodlines failing. We always find a way to team, to swarm, to mix and mingle even in the world. And finally, the word shir is related to the noun shor. Shor, obviously, strangely enough, most people know it as ox, and the animal, the beast of burden, ox. And to some degree, this is telling us we are the Holy One's ox. We are his beast of burden. Another interesting word or translation of shor that's used even in modern language is umbilical cord. This song is our umbilical cord. This song connects us to our source of life. This song is a source of life to us as well. And it makes us his beast of burden. Now let me introduce you to the idea of shirim, plural form of shir songs, and why Moshe might have chosen to say goodbye to us, to leave us with a song. I think it's understood by most people that some things can best and maybe perhaps only be communicated effectively, imparted through a song. Songs, or shirim in Hebrew, they bypass your reasoning. They bypass your mind, your logical thinking, and they get directly to your heart, your mind, your soul. They get deeper. They aid your memory and they build community as well. They bypass reason and logic. They aid your memory and they build community. A song gets stuck in your head. You know the phenomenon, right? And you may not want it stuck in your head, but it's there anyway, and that song is there forever. So a shir gets stuck in your head. It contains a message, a medium, a meter, a beat of ascendance and transcendence. If that's what a Hebrew shir, what Moshe's song is going to do. It's going to contain a message of transcendence and ascendance, arising to who we are supposed to be. And a shir is particularly like a pilgrim song or a minstrel song of leading a group along a trail, along a pilgrim's trail. A traveling song, as if the minstrel would be leading a band of pilgrims. Well, that's what Moshe is doing to us. He's doing it to Aram's seed on the plains of Moab as he's singing this song originally, but he's also doing it to all of us as we follow along with him every year as we read Parsha, Haazinu, the song of Moshe. So it's a song sung by one who's taking a journey, leading a band of pilgrims, singing as they walk along, to maintain a cadence, to stay focused on what's going on, and to instill both a sense of excitement and enthusiasm and esprit de corps, a sense of belonging, part of a bigger plan, being something greater than ourselves. Shirim songs, especially in the Hebrew, have a special power over the human being. Human brains, you see, are pre-wired, pre-programmed, hardwired by the Creator to respond to song like nothing else. Melody plus meter has got this power to it. Coupled with words, it activates a part of the brain that signals how valuable, desirable, and important something is or isn't. Singing, song in general, thus has the ability to impact a human being, to reprogram his brain, to touch his heart, to transcend negative emotions like fear and anger and jealousy and disappointment, and to awaken spirituality, to awaken the neshama, the God-breathed spirit of Genesis 2:7 into us, from us, to awaken our spirituality and to ingrain thoughts and words and images in our memory forever in a way that no other form of communication can do. Think of how wonderful songs are, and our ability to participate in singing and listening to songs it is. Think of a lullaby, the first thing that happens when a baby's born, and the mother or the father begins to sing lullabies, and that lullaby connects the mother and the father with the baby, and connects the baby with the mother and the father, touches the heart, touches the soul of the baby, and connects, creates this bond, this connection. Think of a lullaby. Think of the way we teach children, and like the alphabet song, A, B, C, D. This whole idea of learning how to put things, program things into their mind through this special, powerful melody of song. We could say A, B, C, D, or we could sing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and suddenly that melody writes it in the folds of the brain forever. Think of national anthems and how powerful they are. Think of alma maters from college or high school. Think of fight songs, and think of musicals and songs you remember from different musicals you've heard that become famous, that touch the world. Well, songs transcend time and space, breach the continuum. Songs unearth something deep within the human being that allow us to be transported in our mind out of our current state, either backwards in time to an event that we have long since forgotten, or forwards in time to an event that has not yet occurred in our experience. To a place we desire to go, or a place the Holy One wants us to go. When we hear a song, especially from a beloved source, who we trust, our brains release dopamine. That's what the scientists would say. It's this chemical substance, this spiritual substance, whatever it is, that actually causes us to experience a gentle high, a sense of enthusiasm and excitement. And songs can therefore, by releasing this, help us to experience emotion, affection, and connection at a level that mere conversation or even gifted oratory can never do. Songs bind us together. Songs stir us as a community. So I want to talk to you about now the 7 epic shir sign, the elements of an epic shir or song that we find in Hebrew thought, this Hebrew literature that Moshe is going to basically found for us, just establish for us. The first part of an epic shir or song in Hebrew context is the calling of witnesses. If you remember when Bob Dylan wrote The Times They Are A-Changin', he started by, come gather around people wherever you roam. He called the witnesses. This is a traditional way of starting an epic shir, calling the witnesses. And Moshe will do that as well. He will call heaven, the heavens and the earth to be witnesses. The second part of an epic shir or song in the Hebrew history and Hebrew tradition is to define for the audience the anticipated levels of impact, how the songwriter or the singer intends to impact the hearer. And Moshe will do that. He said, like, may my words fall like the rain, like the dew on the earth. And then the third aspect of an epic shir is declaring the theme, the unifying idea or message. And Moshe will say, I will praise the Holy One. And that's the idea, praising the Holy One for his goodness and his faithfulness to covenant all through the ages. The fourth element of the epic shir is to introduce the hero of the story and the heroine of the story, and discuss the genesis of their relationship. And will Moshe do that? He will talk to us about the rock, Hasur, which is just his poetic description of the creator of the universe, the founder of the covenant, and the senior partner to our covenant with him, the hero. And he will talk about the heroine. He will call her Yeshurun, laughingly, because she's not anything like a Yashar, the straight one going straight toward the target. She's going to get to the target. We are going to get to the target as the people of the Holy One, as the heroine of the story. But it's not going to be a straight trajectory. So he will laughingly call us Yeshurun. And so the heroine will be discussed, and the hero will be discussed, and then the genesis of their relationship. And he will give a beautiful poetic account of how the Holy One found the heroine, found Israel, and she was languishing, and he picked her up and took her to his own, and blessed her in so many ways. And then the fifth part of every epic shir in the Hebrew tradition is the lover's crucible section. This is the time in the song where the crisis comes. The crisis which is going to test and prove the relationship or break it, as the case may be, this crucible, lover's crucible, some call it the lover's cross, or the gauntlet part of the story. And boy, will Moshe lay this out for us, where the relationship between Israel and the Holy One, between the sons and daughters of Abraham and the great creator of the universe, is tested and challenged. And Moshe knows all about that, and he's going to show us and talk to us all about that. And then the sixth part, after the lover's cross or the lover's crucible section of the song, the next part of the song will always be the turning point. There's a point at which the change takes place, the resolution takes place, the prodigal comes home, the prodigal changes, the lovers make it through, they overcome the turning point and resolution, usually by some heroic act on the part of the greater covenant partner, the hero of the story, and a response to that great act by the heroine. So it will be with Moshe's song, and so it will be with the end of days. And finally, the song will end with the epilogue, a poignant summation of it all. A few short lines to tell you what it was all about in the first place, and what the end result of it is designed to do, what it's supposed to accomplish. The stated conclusion based upon what is now a higher perspective. So Shirim, oh, they're so beautiful. And songs, the Song of Moshe in particular, the first song of the Song of the Sea, and this one now, the bookend of the Song of the Sea, is a vehicle of transcendence, or how we make realm travel between the heavenly realm and the earthly realm. We connect the two and have a portal open on earth as it is in heaven. So, when Saul was depressed, what did he do? He had David play for him a song so his spirit could be restored. You see how powerful this is. When Elisha was wanting to prophesy, have the spirit, prophetic spirit rebirthed in him again, he called for a harpist to play a shear so that the spirit could rest upon him afresh. You see, every time the Hebrew soul, the soul of the one who loves the Holy One, longs to break free of the gravitational pull of earth and its mundaneness and its profanity and its obscenity, when the Hebrew soul longs to break forth, it modulates into a song, into a shear. So Moshe is going to teach us a shear, a pilgrim song. And that song is going to go with us. We'll take it with us. It will go with us everywhere we go throughout history as we freewheel through human history. That we may never in any generation completely lose sight of or disconnect from the song, the one who sang the song, the one who gave the song, or the end game of the prophecy. So with this in mind, boy, what an introduction, huh? With this in mind, I have a few questions for you, as I usually do. Questions designed to lift your heads a little bit, to let your eyes adjust to the light of the Sabbath, the seventh day, to begin to acclimate your thinking to a seventh day Sabbath level of spirituality. Questions. The first thing the Holy One did through Mashiach was to ask a question. I'll get to that next year in our cycle. But let's talk about the fact that we're acclimating our thinking to a seventh day level of spirituality through asking questions. And we're also, this week specifically, acclimating our mind to a Hag Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles state of mind and spirit. So what are our questions of ascent this week? What are our questions of stepping up into the higher realms and acclimating ourselves to the higher levels? Question number one. Why can't we who have been gloriously redeemed and who know the Torah of the Holy One and who claim the Messiah as our own, why can't we be perfect? Why can't we just be good and do right and never fail? Serious question. What's the problem? What's the issue? Why can't we be perfect? Because we know enough, right? If it was humanly possible, we would. Second question, acclimate to the higher realm. Second question of ascent this week. Why can't we, of all people, stay focused on and faithful to the Creator's grand plan of redemption and restoration? Why can't we stay focused on it? Why do we get distracted by things? Third question of ascent. Now, what ungodly powers are there that seem to control us and make us deviate from the grand plan? What societal or continental sirens are seducing us on a day-by-day basis, season-by-season basis, year-by-year basis, that cause us to not be perfect, to leave and stray from the way, to not be Yeshurun, going straight toward the target, but instead to veer off in every different way? What animalistic and fleshly drives from within our human nature, our physical, fleshly nature, distract us? And what pseudo-intellectual vanities of the mind and the intellect poison us? And what trigger points of ethnicity, or culture, or emotional trauma, or ideology, or political theory, what trigger points of philosophy, what trigger points of religion sabotage us in our quest to walk out the Holy One's plan and fulfill His will? Good questions to get us started. Now let us sing our call to worship as we begin to really dig into Parsha Haazinu, and let Moshe sing his grand song, his grand shir over us. The call to worship is the baraku, the blessing that's always spoken, sung before reading from the Torah. If you know this in Hebrew, sing it with me. If you don't, just close your eyes, if you're not driving, and listen to the song. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amin, V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen. So be it. And now may you open our eyes, O Holy One, that we may see wondrous things in your Torah, the secret wisdom encoded in your stories. For we are just strangers in the earth, so please do not hide your instructions for living a well-lived life, an excellent life, from us. Well, now it's time. Gather round for the last time this year, children of the Most High. The storyteller is ready. He's poised with his tongue and with his pen. It's story time again. Let's get the context. We ended last week's parsha, last week's stories with Vayelech, the parsha known as Vayelech, and it gave us a segue in Deuteronomy 31:19, and I'm going to skip ahead to 30 just to put this segue in place. Moshe wrote, "Now therefore," this is actually the Holy One's words, and Moshe is writing down a quote from the Holy One. The Holy One told him, "Now therefore, write down this shirah, this song, for yourselves, and teach it to Bnei Israel." He's talking to Moshe and Joshua. "Now therefore, write down this shirah for yourself and teach it to Bnei Israel." These are the children of the seed of Israel. "Put it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness for me unto Bnei Israel." And then verse 30, "Then Moshe spoke in the hearings of Kol Kahal Yisrael," the whole assembly, the whole called together ones of Israel, et devrei, the words, the meditations, the truths of this shirah, ad tamim, until the completion, wholeness, and perfection of it was given. So that's how last week's stories ended. Moshe getting ready to sing this song until it ends. We're going to go with him this week and do that. But to prepare us to do that, I want you to think about the fact that Moshe is kind of in this situation like we'll later see Solomon. At the beginning, at the early point of his life, when he began to step into his role as king, with youthful enthusiasm, he wrote a song. He wrote the Song of Songs, the song of the Shulamite, as I call it, the Song of Songs. And it was a flowing, beautiful ballad, much like Moshe wrote the Song of the Sea in his youth, in his exuberance when he first began to move into his prophetic gifting. But Solomon also, at the end of his life, after many years of ups and downs and a lot of struggles and trials and failures, Solomon wrote another song. He followed the song of Solomon, the song of all songs, the song of the Shulamite. He followed that with the book known as Ecclesiastes, or Kohelet in Hebrew, the book of the wizened soul. And realizing that, realize the difference between the two songs. The bookend on the beginning is full of youthful enthusiasm and idealism. The bookend at the end says, no, it's not about that. It's about the faithfulness of the one to get us through, even when we fail miserably. So I want to talk to you about Habakkuk, the prophet Habakkuk, beginning with chapter 3, verses 2 and then 17 through 19. I just want to get you in the prophetic mood for this song before we start reading the actual words of Moshe's bookend song, when he's doing what Solomon's doing at the end of his life, and telling that there's more than just youthful enthusiasm and excitement. There is the grand faithfulness of God. So the prophet writes, Holy One, in verse 2 of chapter 3. Holy One, I have heard of your fame. I stand in awe of your miracles, Holy One. Resurrect them, renew them in our day. Make them alive again in our day, in our time. Make them known. In wrath, in tumult, in tragedy, in trauma, in rogez in Hebrew. In wrath, we hear it in English. Remember mercy, remember racham, remember compassion. And then chapter 3, verses 17 to 19 of Habakkuk, he speaks through the perspective of time. And the prophet says, though the fig tree may not blossom, and sometimes it won't, nor fruit be on the vines, and sometimes there will be none. Though the labor of the olive may fail, and the fields may yield no food, though the flock may be cut off from the fold, though there be no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Holy One. I will still delight be Elohei Yishi, in the God of my Yeshua, my salvation, my deliverance. The God, the Holy One, God is my strength. And he will make my feet like the feet of a deer. And he will make me walk on the high hills to the chief musician with my stringed instruments. Now that's a fascinating line. An echo of some opening lines of a series of Psalms. He will make me walk on high hills to the chief musician with my stringed instruments. That's how we'll end this story, right? Going to the chief musician with our stringed instruments, singing our songs. Now I want to point you to the Psalms, and you can read these later in the day on your Sabbath. Psalm 4, Psalm 6, Psalm 54, Psalm 55, Psalm 67, and Psalm 76. There are 6 Psalms altogether. These are the key to understanding this passage in Habakkuk and the Song of Moshe as well. So here we are, the Song of Moshe. We're ready to start. We're ready to get involved in it. Parsha Haazinu, Deuteronomy 32, verses 1 through 52. This is our story. This is our song, an anthem for prodigals and pilgrims throughout all the ages. Holy One is going to speak to us. The purpose of the shir is going to be stated. It will come to pass, Moshe is going to tell us. Actually, the Holy One is going to tell Moshe, it will come to pass when many evils and troubles have become upon them, being the sons of Israel, in the latter days. This song will testify to them, unto them, as a witness to their hearts. For it will not be forgotten. It will never be forgotten in the mouths of their seed. And that's why Moshe wrote this song that same day. And that's why he talked to Bnei Israel. Let me give you a Cliff Note version of the song, so we get a picture before we get into the words of it specifically. The picture of what's happened. Well, here's the story. The female lead, Yisrael or Yeshurun, the betrothed of the male lead, which is Hatzur, the Holy One, the glorious leading man. The female lead forgets who and whose she is. This is the crisis of the story. This is the lover's cross. She forgets who and whose she is, and she wanders away like Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov, to the city of Shechem. She wanders away like Dinah. She gets seduced while she's run away by the false gods of the nations. This is the story. This is the storyline. And while she's in the seduction of the false gods of the raging nations and the peoples that imagine a vain thing in the world, while she's in this crucible, all the ethnicities of the world, all the economies and the political systems of the world, all the ideologies and the institutions of the nations take turns abusing her, human trafficking her, using her, taking advantage of her weaknesses, her bent towards sensuality, her bent towards sentimentality, her bent toward loving the pseudo-intellectual and the theoretical and the conceptual, and loving sorcery, power obtained outside of the Holy One and his ways. And so these raging nations, these antagonists, the raging nations take turns having their selfish, perverse way with the female lead, with Yeshurun, with Israel. And they minimalize her, and they marginalize her, and they mock her, and they make sport of her, and they show their hatred and disdain of her, declaring her even to be the root of all evil. They blame her for what they do to her. And just as the nations prepare to kill her and do away with her forever, there is a great change. Haazinu, the hero of the story, the covenant faithful one, steps out of the wings just in the nick of time and leaps into the fray on behalf of his beloved, the one who had forsaken him in her times of seduction. Haazinu steps out of the wings. The hero comes forth and leaps into the fray. And boy, oh boy, do the raging nations and their false gods, and for that matter, Israel, Yeshurun, have a surprise in store waiting for them when the curtain rises on the grand finale of the ages. That's the song of Moshe. So let all prodigals and let all pilgrims know, and let the nations and the ethnicities of the world and the philosophies and religious organizations of the world, let them all be warned. If you underestimate the depth of the commitment of the creator of the universe to this people known as Israel, if you underestimate the depth of his commitment to that people and to the clearly stated objectives of the covenant, the Abrahamic covenant, oh, you do so at your peril. Do not underestimate the depth of the commitment of the creator of the universe to his covenant and his covenant people forever. They are his portion, and he will rise like a lion, like the hero of the story, like Haazinu in Moshe's song. He will arise, and he will bring her unto himself, and he will strike the earth with the rod of his mouth. So, this is Moshe's song. Let's introduce the players. The narrator, minstrel, is Moshe. He is the singer of the song. He's not a participant in this act. He's just the singer. There are two witnesses, the Hashemayim realm and the Haaretz realm. He's blending together. There will be this merger of the heavens and the earth, like unto the Garden of Eden. At the end of days, the witnesses will testify. This was the plan all along. There's more to the story than anybody could see at any given moment. And the end is like the beginning, and the beginning is like the end. And the leading man, Haazinu, will be described in beautiful tones. And the leading lady, or the leading antagonist female part, Yeshurun, or Yisrael, will be spoken of and discussed. And then the antagonist will be named. The Goyim, the nations, the ethnicities, the cultures, the raging ones, and their gods, all the things that they fear and value, all the things they promote and prioritize. These are their gods. All the things they talk about when they have conversations, sex and violence and hatred. These are the things and materialism and material goods and perversions. These are the things these are their gods. Things that they get angry and passionate about. Those are their gods. The antagonists are the Goyim, the nations, the raging nations of the earth, their ethnicities and cultures and governmental systems, and the gods, the things that they value and speak about. So the opera, the great shir, the great prophetic song has 10 movements. The minstrel's call to attention begins it all. Hear, give ear, O heavens and earth. The minstrel then will declare his purpose. He's going to say he's going to praise the Holy One. He's going to tell his story, give his grand redemptive story in words and songs. Then we'll have an opening hymn introducing the leading man. He's going to read the indictment of opening up the door to the crucible, the lover's crucible, and the lover's cross, time period of seduction when the nations take over. He's going to call Israel to remember who she is and who she once was, who we are, who we once were, who we are called to be, and to understand the gap between who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to be acting and how we're really acting on the earth at a given time. We're going to talk about what happened to us to cause us to break away from the Holy One, stray away, to veer away up from the plan, to get off of course, to get off the trajectory, and then the spiral, the resulting death spiral that we got into, the free fall that we went into. He's going to talk about the decree of discipline, of turning a face away for a strategic reason. Because once we've experienced the light of the countenance of the Creator of the universe, and the blessing and the energy that comes from that light, we can't live without it. So he takes it away for a strategic short period of time, and we hunger for it, and our neshama cries out, and that will be the seeds of our teshuvah, turning to return. The decree of discipline is given, and the laws of sowing and reaping are allowed to take effect up to a point. The Holy One will never allow abuse for a long term. And then there is the reference to the day of mercy and redemption and return to favor. When things change, when our circumstances change and our fortunes are restored, when we have turned back to the Holy One, to his Torah ways, what will happen? How the kingdom will begin to be birthed upon earth, and heaven and earth will align in beautiful ways, coming through the portal of the covenant people. And the promise to bring the redemption to pass will be given in chapter 32, verses 39 through 42. And then finally, the exhortation to all the peoples of the earth, to all the nations, to join in praise, join Israel in praising the Holy One, to join in the great song. That's our story. Let's start with the minstrel's call to attention. The song's Shema Yisrael section, compared to Dylan's Come Gather Round Children Wherever You Roam. Haazinu hashemayim ve'adabera. Your ears, O heavens, I'm speaking. V'tishma haaretz imrefi. And earth, tune into Shema, the sayings of my mouth. This is Moshe, this minstrel is singing, beginning the song. V'tishma haaretz imrefi. And hear and tune in, O earth, to the words of my mouth. Well, Moshe's call to attention is next. He says, heavens, Hashemayim, literally, those who flow in rhythm and harmony with the Holy One at all times, the heavenly realm that is the Shemayim ones, the Shemayim. These are the ones that are witness level number one. But witness two is the Aretz, the earth, those who will do as they please. Now, at one point, they will all coincide, as they did in the Garden of Eden, when the ones who Shema were on heaven and on earth as well. But then we had the one time in the garden where mankind decided to do as he pleases, and now that's the common state, the most common state of life. Men do what they please. Sometimes they blame the Holy One for it. Sometimes they blame devils for it. Sometimes they blame others for it. They seldom blame their own choices for it. And Moshe declares his purpose in verse 2 through 3 of the song. He says, I am going to teach, that I may teach, that my teaching, the things that my take on history will be as the drops of rain, as the distillation of dew. Have you ever seen a gentle rain? Have you ever woken up in the morning and felt the dew? You didn't even feel it fall, but it was there. And this is the way his story, his teaching is supposed to be. This greater teaching is going to take place through this song. He's going to declare prophetically the future. And may his song also be as cloud bursts on tender herbs. There will be the prophetic sign that's going to shock us. It's going to be a stunning blow to us, but yet The teaching is going to be soft. It's going to be like drops of rain and distillation of dew, but it will hit us like cloudbursts because we will be so shocked that this has to happen. Why do we have to not be perfect? Why do we have to fail? Why do we have to stray? It's all part of the plan. We'll get to that. So far will fall like cloudbursts or as floodwaters on the grass. And the result, there will be levels and ripples of impact upon the earth. Moshe knows that his song is going to have levels, multi-levels of impact. Ya'arov kenataliki. My teaching, my artistry of teaching will drop down and trickle like the spring rain. Tizal kitalimrati. My sayings will condense on the earth like drops of dew. Kisirim ale deshe. Like he-goats roaming around on the tender plants. V'kiverim ale esev, like a shower, a heavy shower on the grass, making it move, making it shrink. Minstrel's declaration of purpose. Kishem Adonai Ekra, I will declare, I will rehearse the attributes, the characteristics of the Holy One. Kishem Adonai Ekra, I will call it out, I will declare the attributes and the characteristics and the goodness of the Holy One. Havu godel Elohenu, to praise the greatness of our God. If you see any other theme in the Song of Moshe, you miss the point. This is the theme, to praise the greatness of God. At the beginning and at the end, the praise of God goes on. Asur tamim ba'alo, the Holy One, the rock, his works, his deeds, his actions are perfect, they're whole. Ki kol drachav mishpat elamana, and all of his ways are just and true and trustworthy. Ve'en aver, he is without any deviation or perversion. Zadik ve'yashahu, he is the righteous one, on task, on target, without deviance at all. And the tone of the story is he is our rock. He is our overshadowing protector. He is the one we rely upon, the one who's always constant, the one who is sure and faithful. He is our rock. Is he your rock? In all the trials and tribulations of the world, in all the attacks and the seductions of the antagonists of this world, of the goyim and their gods, and the cultures and the nations and the government program, all this and all that is your rock, the Holy One. Do you have the rock? And do you understand that his words and his works and his ways and his deeds are perfect? They are going to bring themselves to completion. He is working good in all things. Do you understand that? If you don't, then you'll be offended. You'll be greatly offended by what happens in the world, what the nations do to you, what your own people tend to do to each other. You'll be offended by the mistakes and the problems that we have. But if you know that his works are perfect and being completed at every moment, that he is working all things together for good, then you can have trust. And you should know that all his ways are just. That's what Moshe wants us to all to know at the beginning of the song, at the beginning of his grand prophetic gifting and the release, that all the Holy One's ways are just. They are bringing about redemption, restoration, and healing in the earth. He is a God of emunah, of faithfulness. He is a God who connects with his people and is faithful to his words, faithful to his promises, faithful to his assurances, and faithful to his plan. He has no imprecision in him, no deviation, no crookedness in him at all, no shadow of turning. He is righteous. He is a tzaddik. He understands the specifications and the blueprint for making tikkun olam, fixing the world back to its Edenic state, bringing mankind back into its Adamic state in the very beginning. Now, the third thing about the rock, about the Holy One that we're supposed to know from Moshe's song is that he is on target, on task, on time. He's always doing it just exactly right. And then after we get through the initial theme, that presentation, the praising of the Holy One by Moshe, he goes straight into the lover's crucible. He reads the indictment, what has happened. It's almost like in Job 40 when the Holy One says to Job, now prepare yourself like a man. I'm going to question you. And you will answer me. You will give me a response. Would you indeed annul my judgment? The Holy One says to Job. Would you condemn me that you might be justified? Is it all my fault for what you've done? Where are you, and who and what have you become? These are the questions. The way it's going to be worded in Hebrew is, Shikelo! Should there not be destruction for you and disbursement of you among the nations? Lo banav, you are not children. You're not the children. You don't speak or act or interact like he does. You don't share his features. You don't wear his mark. You don't leave his patented Elohim signature of goodness wherever you go. Mumam do ikesh uftotol. You are a warped and a twisted generation. Oh, don't give up yet. Don't quit reading yet. Don't assume you know the story ending yet. This is just the indictment being read. Psst, this too is a part of the plan, the grand plan. We must descend in order to ascend. The Holy One knew it before he called us that we would go through these things, and these things would be a witness and testimony to the nations. Well, this too is part of the plan. And as the old proverb reads, never judge a soup before the salt is added. Never confuse rebuke, yikach in Hebrew, taking the lead and getting in front of your face. Never confuse that with rejection in the Hebrew. And never confuse discipline or musar in the Hebrew with punishment. Discipline is for training and teaching and growth, maturity, not for punishment or sentencing. Never confuse the strategic withholding of the face and the hand of the Holy One with his abandonment of his covenant or his people. Remember the great connection. Now, this part of the song begins with verse 6 of chapter 32, and it stirs, it's designed to stir in Israel and all who read, a prodigal son's longing for father and for home. Hal Adonai tikmelu zot. Is this how you repay the Holy One? Amnava, you foolish people. Velo hakam, who don't have any wisdom or discernment and understand why you're not thriving. Halo uhapika, is he not your father? Kanekahu aska vekonenka. The one who made you, the one who established you. Moshe wants us, he wants all of our seed as they read this song every year and study it, to know 6 essential things about who it is we're dealing with. Who he is and who he isn't. What he does and what he will never do. The first thing he wants us to know, he is a rock. He is solid. He is sure. Second thing he wants us to know is his works are perfect, are producing wholeness at all times. He doesn't get distracted. He doesn't run rabbit trails. He doesn't get offended and stop doing what he's doing for a while. He's always focused on the ultimate mission. The third thing he wants to know is his ways are all just. His ways are all true. Fourth thing is he wants to know he is faithful to his promises. He is a God of Amunah. He has no deviation or crookedness in him. The fifth thing is he will never abandon. He will never punish. He will never deny forgiveness and restoration to his people. And the sixth thing is we are not like him, but he will love us and call us back to him anyway. Well, the ultimate question, in light of the identity of who the Holy One is and who he isn't, and what he does and what he doesn't do, in light of who he is and how wonderful he is, and his care for us and our fathers and our children, in light of all these things, how should we and how should we not respond to him? How should we not behave in relation to him? Why do you behave like this toward the Holy One, you foolish people? Wake up, he would say. I'm going to summarize. Wake up, and he would call you to home as prodigals. He says, remember the days of old, Moshe will sing. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask your father, he will show you. Ask your elders, and they will tell you. When the Most High divided their inheritance to the nations of the world, when he separated the sons of Adam, chapter 10 of Genesis, He set the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the children of Israel. He knew before the nations were formed, the raging nations were formed, that each one would be assigned a certain number of people from the nation of Israel that he was going to form and turn and send out into the world as his representatives. For the Holy One's portion is his people, and Yaakov is the place of his inheritance. And he tells the story of how the lovers got together, how the first introduction to us. Moshe says he found him. He found he found him or her in the desert land in Midbar, in the wasteland, in a howling wilderness. That's what happened in the desert. He encircled him. He instructed him. That's how it happened at Sinai. He faithfully cherished and watched over him as the apple or the fire in his eye. And as an eagle stirs up his nest, he hovered over its young, like an eagle hovers over its young, spreading out its wings and taking them up and carrying them on its wings. And you heard about that, the way the Holy One got Israel to Sinai. So the Holy One alone was his shepherd. He shepherded him. He led him through the wilderness. And there was no visible image of the Holy One with him. He made Israel ride in the heights of the earth, that he might, and this is the high points of Sinai, that he might eat the produce of the fields. He made him draw honey from the rock and oil from the flinty rock. He made him eat curds from the cattle and milk from the flock. He fed him so richly, so beautifully, blessed him so much with prosperity, with the fat of lambs and with the rams of the breed of Bashan and goats with the choicest wheat, and made him drink wine, the lifeblood of the grapes. But this is where it got bad. But Yeshurun, now we use that derisive tone. Yeshurun, which once was Israel and now is not going straight. Yeshurun grew fat and kicked like Saul. Why do you kick against the pricks? Why do you rebel against the Holy One? Why do you not do the things the Holy One says to do? Why don't you perfect? Because you've been touched by the Holy One. Yeshurun grew fat and kicked, grew thick. And you are obese now. You've forsaken the Holy One who made you. And you have scornfully esteemed the rock of your Yeshua, of your deliverance, that may give you that deliverance. And you have provoked him to passion with foreign gods. With abominations have you provoked him. Oh, beloved, this is the sad part of the story, to displeasure. This is the season of provocation. We are, to some degree, in it now. The season when the sons and daughters of Israel and those who have attached themselves to them have been distracted, have been seduced by the nations, by the raging nations and their gods, and have entered into a season of provocation. They're negative in their tone, they're abrasive in their approach, and they're irritating in the way they stimulate the world. They create hardship and conflict rather than bringing about shalom and peace. So he goes further. Moshe continues with the downward spiral of what happened after they left and veered away from the Holy One in his ways of Torah. So they sacrificed to false gods, idols, not to God. They sacrificed and gave themselves to gods they did not know, to new gods, to new arrivals that their fathers didn't have any understanding of or fear of, but of the rock who begot them. The rock, the Haazinu, the Holy One, the hero of the story, they were unmindful and they forgot the Father who fathered you. And when the Holy One saw them, he turned his face away. Temporarily, strategically, to awaken the passion, the hunger for what they have lost, he turned his face away from them because of the provocation of his sons and his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them, and I will watch what happens to them. For they have become a perverse generation, children in whom there is simply no emunah, no faithfulness. They have provoked me to jealousy by what is not God. They have moved me to displeasure by their foolish idols, so I will provoke them to jealousy by those who are not a nation. And I will move them to displeasure by and through a foolish nation. Okay, that is where we are. The darkest hours of the opera. We learn in this that psalmistry, prophetic psalmistry in particular, is not always neat and pretty. Matter of fact, it seldom is. The end of Moshe's life, like the end of Solomon's life, has perspective that says, wow, I thought I knew it all when I was young. I thought I had the idealism down and the enthusiasm down, but I hadn't counted the cost of what it would be. But I hadn't also counted the faithfulness of the Holy One involved. So prophetic psalmistry like this is not neat and pretty. For every Psalm 1, it appears there is a Psalm 2. I'll let you think about that for a while. For every Psalm 23, there is a Psalm 137. For every Psalm 91, there's a Psalm 51. And for every song of the Shulamite, there's a song of Yeshurun. For every glorious ascent, rising up, there is a devastating downward spiral that makes the hearer question how the heroine of the story, or perhaps even the hero of the story, can possibly continue and survive. And for every scene of soaring triumph, there is a long season of intense struggle. And for every celebration, there is a lamentation and a season of lamentation. And for every hallelujah, there is a Holocaust. This is the story. The Great Awakening then is foretold. The next part of the story will be that the Holy One will, the Moshe will say, Lot chachmu yaskilu zot. Now he who is wise, behold and see this in perspective. He's going to go through a little more story. I'm running out of time, so what I'm going to tell you is at the very end. At the very end, he says, Now Haazinu goyim amo. Rejoice, shout with joy with his people, all you goyim, all you Gentiles out there. Not just let Israel rejoice at the end of the story. Let the entire world, the nations, rejoice as well. Amen. Amen. Well, that's all I have for you today. That's all the time I have for you today. So may you be blessed in all things. I will look forward to seeing you with a new series in a few weeks. And we'll also be offering another option, which will be discussion of the teachings of the Master, the teachings of Messiah, Yeshua, as an alternative. We will be offering both in the coming year. Blessings to you. Thank you for joining me all year long for Walking in the Light, discovering the secret wisdom encoded in Torah's timeless stories. Shabbat Shalom and Hag Sameach.